Hello, in this video I'm going to go over the basics of IELTS writing. Now if you need more in-depth or more detail, there are other videos. In this video I'm going to go over the basics of what you can expect during an IELTS writing test. I will cover the procedure, the scoring, Task 1 summary, and a summary of Task 2. So if you want to know the basics about IELTS writing Task 1 and 2, this video is perfect for you. Well, let's start with the procedure of what you can expect for an IELTS test. This means what are the stages and timings and just basic information. The full time for an IELTS writing test is 60 minutes. And it's the same whether you do the computer or paper-based version. Now the recommended times are 20 minutes for Task 1 and 40 minutes for Task 2. But you don't have to follow the times. Those are just recommendations from IELTS. Well, let's move on to talk about how Task 1 and Task 2 are different, both with general and academic. In Task 1 academic, you're given a chart, a diagram, map, or table. You must mention and/or compare the key points, and this is a short essay form, usually around 4 paragraphs. For Task 1 general, you're given a cue card to write about. It'll be a letter to a friend, coworker, newspaper, something like this, and you must cover all the bullet points. There will be 3 bullet points, and you must make sure you cover them all in your letter. And often, for Task 1 general, it's about 4 paragraphs in length. Now I'm going to cover the Task 2 general and academic. There are some websites out there that tell you that they're different. Well, they're not. Both of them, it's a formal essay on a topic related to society. It's a longer essay, usually around 5 paragraphs, where you must go into detail and give examples. For the computer-based, you will just do it on a computer, but for the paper-based, you'll be given sheets or multiple sheets of paper to write your essay. So let's have a look at that now. You must make sure you fill out this sheet perfectly when you're doing your test. Most importantly, obviously, is your candidate name. Make sure you spell this clearly, and your candidate number to make sure it matches up with you. The center number, test date, and whether you're doing academic or general, these are also important, but the people working there will double check to make sure you've done this correctly. And then finally, you have the space where you can write your essay. And if you need more sheets to write a longer essay, just ask. All right, let's move on to talk about the scoring. Now, earlier I mentioned that you should spend less time on the Task 1. Well, that's because the Task 1 is worth 33% of your overall writing score. But let's go into more detail about this now. Feel free to pause the video now, as this is the table that IELTS use to figure out your overall score. You can see on the left that it focuses on Task 1, and on the top, it focuses on Task 2. And you can see that the Task 2 is much more important. A good example of this would be for Task 1, if you got a 4.5, and Task 2, you got a 6, your overall would be 5.5. This means that the Task 2 score of 6 brought the overall score up 1 full band higher from the 4.5 received in Task 1. Now let's go into some detail about how you're scored in those 4 categories. The first is task achievement. Did you cover all the points in the prompt? Did you use the correct tone? And did you have an overview? These are all the main points that are covered in task achievement. Next is coherence and cohesion. How good was your paragraphing? Did you connect your ideas well using linking words? And how much referencing did you use? Next, we look at lexical range and accuracy. Did you use more difficult words? How accurately did you use word forms, collocations, and idiomatic language? And last but not least, we have the grammatical range and accuracy. Did you use more difficult grammar? And how accurately did you use the grammar in your essay? Okay, well that's what you need to know for the IELTS Task 2 writing.